Good day, viewers. Welcome back to class. This is Master Builders Academy, the very online tutorials that cut across all science courses, engineering, and so many other aspects of sciences. Right now, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you are new in this page, and ensure that you turn on the post notification bell for more exciting videos. All right, guys. Now, don't forget that we have a policy here that we follow strictly for the terms and conditions. It's not against you, but for you. Ensure that anytime you want to start watching our video or learn at our feet, ensure that you avoid every unnecessary distractions. Yes, every unnecessary distraction. Because when you lose focus, you will not be able to get the values that you are looking for. Then finally, if at a point you do not understand anything, please, this is a video format. You can replay it over and over again till you are able to get all that is required from you as a student. And if at all at the end you have replayed and your question has still not been answered, please, you can make us know that at the comment section below. So we love you. Let us get started. Now, don't forget that we have been examining the concept of quadratic equation, and we have looked at 3 methods of solving quadratic equation. Of course, we have 4 methods of solving quadratic equation, but we are here to look at the 4th method, which is the graphical method. We will take our time to look at that when we have been able to put ourselves together to a point where we can perfectly teach graphs online. All right, so we are still working on that now. So you take that from us and accept the 3 methods we have used so far. Now, we said that anytime we solve quadratic equations, that we obtain roots of quadratic equation. Now, in today's tutorial class, we are still continuing from there, but we are not going to be solving any quadratic equation, but we are going to be forming, deriving, and constructing quadratic equation. This may interest you that anytime we solve a quadratic equation, we obtain roots, which are the values of the quadratic equation. So anytime a quadratic equation is given and it is solved, the root of the quadratic equations are the values obtained when the quadratic equation is being solved. Yes, the root of any quadratic equation are the values obtained when you solve any quadratic equation. And on the other hand, the root of any quadratic equation can be given to you, and you are asked to give or derive the quadratic equation whose roots are given. And that is exactly what we are up to in this class. Now, when you look at the board, we said if A and B are the roots of any quadratic equation of the form this. Of course, you know that every quadratic equation have to come in this format, right? Yes, equated to 0. A square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Construct any quadratic equation with any given roots A and B from this method. Now, there are 2 major methods of constructing or deriving or formulating quadratic equations when the roots are given. There are basic 2 methods, but in this video tutorial, we are limited to 1 method, which is formula method. We are going to be using formula method. So the formula to construct any quadratic equation is what we have on the board. S squared minus sum of the 2 roots that you are given times x plus the product. Now, understand that still looking at this standard, this is the first term, this is the middle term, which is a function of x. All the things that we have here, and the sum of the roots now are the coefficient of x, which happens to be b. Then we now have c, which are the products of the roots. So any roots that you are given. So if we assume that a and b can possibly be the 2 roots that are given, therefore we can reduce this equation to be simple as we have it here, which shows that s squared minus a plus b all multiplied by x plus product of the root means multiplication of the root. So the first root multiplied by the second root, all equal to 0. So we are going to be using this as the formula method that we are going to be using to construct the quadratic equation whose roots are given. So we start at question number 19, where we solve a quadratic equation using the 3 methods of quadratic equation we have used in this class to solve one particular question. So if you have not watched that video, please, you can go back to that video and watch it effectively. All right. So here now, this happens to be question number 20. This is the 20th question we are solving on quadratic equation. All right. So now we are asked to construct quadratic equations whose roots are given below. Now the first root is 5 and 7, second minus 3 and plus 5, fourth, third, and fourth. So we have 4 questions or 4 equations to derive here. So under question 20, we have 4 questions under question 20, which will also take us a long time. So please pay close attention and avoid every unnecessary distraction as we start providing the necessary solution. But don't forget to put this formula in your brain. Alright? Put it in your brain. Put it here. Yes, put it there. Alright? Now let's go. We have solution to question number 20. Alright? So now we are asked to construct question number 1, which is 24, 20, question 20i. Alright? We have roots. The roots that we are given is plus 5 and plus 7. Okay, so these are the two roots that we have here. So we can simply say let A be equal to 5 and B be equal to 7. So we ignore the positive sign because whether or not we put plus here, we already know that a number standing without any sign is positive, right? Alright, so now let's go. Then the next thing we are quickly going to do is to recall the formula. That's the reason why I said you must memorize it. So the formula is S squared minus sum of roots A plus B multiplied by X, then plus product of roots A times B, all equal to 0. So now this will have given us S squared minus what is A? A is 5. What is B? B is 7. X plus A is 5 times, don't forget, A times B or A multiplied by B. So which will have become 5 multiplied by 7 equal to 0. It is very, very simple to have this done. So now at this point, this gives us S squared minus 5 plus 7 will give us 12 times X, 12X, and 5 times 7 or 5 multiplied by 7, that would have given us 35. So this is the answer to this question. Guys, you see how simple it is to formulate quadratic equation or to construct quadratic equation. Now, this question we have here now, if you use formula method, you use factorization method, you use graphical method, or even use the method of completing the square, you will get these results back. So we are using the answers we had in our previous video from question number 1 to 19 to generate the model or the equation that gave us those roots. So now let's look at 20, question number 20, Roman figure 2. Alright, so the roots of this equation are minus 3 and plus 5. So it shows that we can simply say let the first root be represented by A and the second root be represented with what? B, which is plus 5. Okay, we can ignore the positive sign. All we just need to do again is to recall that S squared minus sum of roots A plus B multiplied by S plus product of roots A multiplied by B is equal to 0. So what we need to do now is to impute the values. Are we there? It's as simple as this. So when we impute these values, we have this to be S squared minus, now what is A? First root is minus 3 plus what is B? Plus 5. All multiplied by X plus product of roots minus 3 multiplied by 5 equal to 0. Now the next thing we are quickly going to do, guys, is to sum minus 3 plus 5 will give us plus 2. You can check that out with your calculator. Are we there? Yes, this will have given us X squared minus 2x. Don't forget, minus 3 plus 5 is plus 2. So plus 2 times minus 1 will have given us 2 times x, 2x. Then minus, now don't forget, minus 3 times 5 will give us minus 15. And minus 15 times this plus 1 will have turned this to what? Minus 15, which is equal to 0. This is the quadratic equation for which these roots were given or were obtained. So if I solve this quadratic equation using any of the 4 methods of solving quadratic equation, we will have these roots back. Alright, so we are reversing our answers back to the question. Now let's do it. Then we have question about 20 I. Alright? Yes, question number 20 I. And the roots there are what? Minus 4 and minus 2 over 3. As simple as this. So this is what we have, guys. Okay? Now, all we need to do is to also say let's assume that A is equal to the first root and B is equal to the second root. Now understand that anytime you have a fraction, please, I want to give you a secret here. Anytime you have a fraction, S square will definitely have a coefficient. So now that we have a fraction here and the denominator is 3, that means the coefficient of S square will turn out to be 3 at the end of the summing. Don't forget that, alright? So that you know when you are wrong and when you are right. Now, this second root has a denominator 3. Now, this 3 will later become the coefficient of S square. So if your answer at the end of this summing, we do not have 3S square before every other terms, we are wrong. Now, let's check that out. So I'm just giving you a key to other problems that we may not solve here that you can encounter anytime, any day. Now, let's go. So we'll recall also that S squared minus sum of the roots a plus b multiplied by x plus the product of the root a multiplied by b is equal to 0. All we just need to do now is to impute our values. S squared minus open bracket. The first value is minus 4. The other value is what? Minus. Now this is plus minus 2 over 3. Okay. Now let's use small bracket there. Then times x. Then plus open bracket. Now first value is minus 4 times minus 2 over 3, all equated to 0. Are we there? Yes. Now the next thing we are quickly going to do is to simplify this bracket. Now at this point, this will have given us s squared minus open bracket minus 4 minus times plus, guys. This will have given us minus 2 over 3, all multiplied by x plus open bracket. Now minus 4 times minus 2. Now understand that this in fraction form is over 1. So minus 4 times minus 2 will give us plus 8. Then 3 times 1 is 3. All equated to 0. Now at this point, understand that since you are removing a fraction from a whole number, we can equally convert this whole number to its fractional form. And now we now have two fractions that are separated with what, or connected with what? Subtraction sign. And what do we do when two fractions are connected with subtraction sign? All we simply do is to find the common denominator for them. Is that correct? That is to say, we are going to find the LCM of the first denominator and the second denominator. And guys, the LCM of 1 and 3 is 3. So this will have given us s squared minus open bracket 3 is the LCM. So now 3 divided by 1 is 3, which is the first denominator. Is that correct? So this 3 divided by 1 is 3. Now 3 times minus 4 will give us minus 12. We are good to go. Then 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 1 times minus 2, we have this as minus 2. All x plus 8 over 3 equal to 0. Now we are making progress. Then the next thing we are quickly going to do, guys, is to what? Add up the numerator. So minus 12 minus 2, guys, will give us minus 14. You can check that out with the help of your calculator. Alright, so this is giving us s squared minus 14 over 3x plus 8 over 3 is equal to 0. Then finally, all we need to do now is to remove this bracket. Now, minus times minus is plus. So this would have given us x squared plus 14 over 3x plus 8 over 3 is equal to 0. Now, from experience, all the quadratic equations we have been given since were all in linear form, not fractional form. Is that correct? So what do we do now? We need to clear up this fraction. So all we simply do is that this is over 1. So to clear up the fraction, just find the LCM of the denominator. The LCM of all the denominators here, 1, 3, and 3 is 3. So all you just need to do now, multiply this whole equation by 3. So we simply do, all we simply do here is to multiply all through by 3. So when we multiply this first term by 3, we will have 3s squared. When we multiply 14 over 3 by 3, 14 over 3x by 3, 3 cancel 3, we have plus 14x. Now when we also multiply 8 over 3 by 3, 3 cancel 3, we are going to have plus 8 equal to 0. This is the quadratic equation whose roots were given to be minus 4 and minus 2 over 3. Guys, hope this is clear. Like I explained earlier, I made it clear that at the end of your sum, you must ensure that the denominator you have here fall out to be the coefficient of your x. If it doesn't happen that way, that means you are wrong. So you need to retrace yourself back and see whether you have issues with either your fraction here when you were resolving your fraction or when you were multiplying out the fraction. So see you guys. So we'll look at the very last question, which happens to be question number 20. Alright guys. Now let's look at the very last question, which is question 20 IV, Roman figure 4. Now the roots of the equations are 1 over 2 and 3 over 2. Okay? So we therefore say let A represent the first roots and B represent the other roots. Okay? This is what we have. So all we need to do here now is to recall the standard quadratic equation, which is s squared minus sum of roots a plus b multiplied by s plus product of roots, which is a multiplied by b, all equal to 0. So at this point, guys, what do? We quickly substitute the values of a and b. And this will give us s squared minus open bracket minus 1 over 2 plus 3 over 2 multiplied by x, then plus minus 1 over 2 multiplied by the second root 3 over 2, all equated to 0. So what we need to do now is to simplify this bracket and also simplify this other bracket. Now understand that in the first bracket, we have two fractions that are connected with what? Addition sign. And you know that when two fractions are connected with addition sign, you simply find the LCMs of their denominator. So the LCM of 2 and 2 is 2. Then we have this as s squared minus 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times minus 1 is minus 1, is 1, and 1 times 3 is plus 3. Then plus minus 1 times 3 will give us minus 3, and 2 times 2 will give us 4. Is equal to what? 0. So the next thing we are quickly going to do here, guys, is x squared minus, now open a bracket here. These guys minus 1 plus 3 will give us 2 over 2 times x plus times minus will give us minus 3 over 4 equal to 0. Alright, now the next thing we are quickly going to do is 2 divided by 2, guys, is 1. That is to say, this will have given us s squared minus 1x, then minus 3 over 4 is equal to 0. So at this point, all we need to do is to clear off the fraction. So we can simply say that this in each fraction form is over 1, and this in each fraction form is over 1. So the LCM of everything here is 4. So we are going to be multiplying this whole equation by 4 so that we can clear off the denominator. So multiply all through by 4. So 4 times s squared, where we have 4s squared. 4 times minus x, we have minus 4x. And 4 times minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4 times 4. 4 cancel 4. We have minus 3 equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation whose roots we are given to be minus 1 over 2 and plus 3 over 2. So guys, any of the quadratic equation method you use to solve this equation, you will definitely obtain this result after solving this either with formula method, factorization method, method of completing the square, or the graphical method. Thank you guys for following us. Thank you for watching. I am super excited because we have fulfilled our mission on quadratic equation. So please ensure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel for those who are yet to subscribe, and please turn on the post notification bell so that anytime we upload mind-blowing content, you will be notified. Now also, don't forget to like this current video you just watched and ensure that you share this video. Even as a teacher, as a student, let your classmates be aware of this social platform. You can check the description below where the link to all our social media pages are documented. So please don't forget to always follow us on every side. Every move that we take, ensure you follow us. Please guys, we love you. Thanks for being there for us. Thanks for following us. Thanks for watching our videos, and thanks for all your comments. Thanks for being with us this far. We love you guys, and we'll keep giving you the best. See you guys in the next class. Don't forget, we will be looking at simultaneous equation. After which, then we will look at number base. See you guys in the next video. I love you. This is the voice of the wise masters.